Are you ready?
Imagine you had dealing with sleep paralysis, and you wake up to this face, fam. You wake up to one of sleep paralysis demons or whatever the fuck they are. This is what's looking at you, fam. Like, why is he looking at Joe Rogan so intense, fam? Like,
The fuck y'all looking at?
all right, y'all. What it do now? Flight crew.
FTC.
Nah, let me stop. How y'all doing? Y'all know what it is. We back with the third and final wave of the reaction videos. And as y'all know, I like to go ahead and end that off on some spiritual type videos. And I feel like not Joe Rogan per se, but it was probably due time we react to Hotep Jesus, man. Hotep Jesus, step up to the plate. It's show time to shine, my brother. So, I won't lie to y'all. As far as my experience with Hotep Jesus, I initially had came across him thanks to Joe Rogan's podcast and whatnot, when he was talking about Africans and how it was already Africans and American, and that's where the slaves had came from. It wasn't no Africans coming on a slave ship and they sending them all the way here. Nah, it was they enslaved the Native Americans, which was black people, and pretty much they're slaves. You know what I'm saying? That being said, today we are going to react to Halos was inspired by magic mushrooms. And let's see how it goes, Joe Rogan. That being said, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below, hit the notification bell button, share the video. You know the usual spiel. Let's go ahead and get into it without further ado. I ain't gonna lie, Hotep Jesus be looking like he be on he be on that shit, man. He be my man's eyes, his eyes be so bug eyed, like he done seen some things or he done did some things.
The Rogan experience.
Spirituality is a weird word. What does that mean?
Soon as I say my man's eyes be bug eyed, we get this. Hold on.
The Joe Rogan experience.
Spirituality.
Imagine you had dealing with sleep paralysis, and you wake up to this face, fam. You wake up to one of sleep paralysis demons or whatever the fuck they are. This is what's looking at you, fam.
What the fuck is this nigga doing?
Like, why is he looking at Joe Rogan so intense, fam? Like, yo, let's get into it, man. Hotep funny.
Spirituality is a weird word. What does that mean?
It's a very taboo word. It's a very abused word.
It's abused, for sure. I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual.
And it's so funny, like, when he talks, it's so calm, collective, and his demeanor is just so chill. But then when you bounce, like, it's so funny. That's so funny to me.
You like that kind of shit?
Yeah.
That's where it gets weird.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. You know, when I speak about spirituality, I'm speaking about something that really can't be put into words. It's unfathomable. You know, our language isn't designed to talk about this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we look at Orwell and Newspeak, there's certain words that don't exist for this stuff. You'd have to use an ancient language, and even ancient language you try to translate to English, it's like we don't have a word for this. You ever had to?
Yeah.
You ever seen that
like
before,
ancient
language?
Hebrew when they try to translate things.
Right.
Ancient Hebrew, all the numbers were actually, all the letters rather were actually numbers as well.
Correct.
Yeah. Do you know when you talk about halos that the original halo was a mushroom cap? Do you know
what?
That? Yeah.
A mushroom cap.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about? Okay, I got you.
The original halo was. Well, there's a book called The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. It's by John Marco Allegro, and he was a biblical scholar that was one of the guys that was assigned to decipher the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is the oldest version of the Bible.
Yes.
It's the only one I think that they've ever found. It's written in Aramaic, and it was found in Qumran and these clay jars, and It's all written on animal skins to decipher it. They actually had to run DNA tests on the animal skins to figure out which skins belong to which animal, so they could put all the stuff together to figure out like, all these pieces were a part of this one scroll.
Yeah.
Well, this guy John Marco Allegro studied it for 14 years, and it was his conclusion after he was done that the entire Christian religion was a giant misunderstanding. And what it was originally about was the consumption of psychedelic mushrooms and fertility rituals. And they started doing all of these different scholars who studied ancient art and ancient religious art. They started finding this mushroom iconography and all this ancient artwork. And one of the things they notice is that the bottom of a mushroom, if you take like particularly the Amanita muscaria mushroom, which is the one that they connect to
I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Probably a few months ago, like 5 or 6 months ago, there was a point where I was really getting into trying psychedelics. I won't lie to y'all, just for spiritual reasons, because whenever you look into it, like mushrooms, for as far as a mass media goes, it gets a bad rep. But if you really pay attention to it and you really like pick the mind of people that takes magic mushrooms, they'll tell you that for spirituality, it tends to open up a door. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was something I really wanted to get into. I guess the universe didn't want to work in that way, so I never came across them. I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So yeah, that was like I said, it's like 5 or 6 months ago. So if I ever, but another one thing I do want to try is DMT. I would, hey man, that's something I really do want to try. But it's levels to this shit. So
mushroom, which is the one that they connect to the Christian religion. Look at the bottom of it and see what it looks like with all those lines.
Yeah.
Now look at that. That was the original halo.
Okay.
And if you see that picture with Jesus with the halo around his head, the halo was essentially the bottom of a mushroom cap. And the idea, they believe, was that these people were the ones that were consuming the psychedelic mushrooms, so they had this great wisdom and this connection
that's
to
wild.
God.
So like, imagine you being in church and instead of you getting like, excuse me, instead of you eating like the little cracker, the skin of Jesus or the flesh of Jesus, and cranberry juice, the blood of Jesus, they gave you psychedelics. Like that would be wild. That would be wild, fam. To connect to a higher level, higher state of mind that can get you closer to Christ. Like
God.
that would be
That's what they thought mana was. That's what they thought these psychedelic mushrooms were, the flesh of God.
I like that.
Yeah, and so that when you have these ancient religions that were possibly based on the consumptions of these psychedelic mushrooms, all that stuff has kind of been lost in the translation over years and years and years, and then even the visualization of the halos changed.
Yeah.
And there's also some really crazy ones of naked people dancing in ecstasy surrounded by this translucent mushroom image. So the idea that they were in these mushroom-induced euphoric states and that they were dancing around, all these religious depictions.
Yeah.
Very interesting, because if you think about ancient religions, right? No science. They had no idea what shape the world was. They didn't know anything. But they did know if you found these mushrooms and you took them, you'd trip your fucking balls off.
Right.
And you would have this incredible experience. And they thought that was God. You know, that was their connection to God. You know, so
That's interesting.
yeah, it's a great book, and the Catholic Church actually bought it out. And they got rid of it, and then you could only buy used copies of it, but then it was republished recently over the last few years. Someone got the rights to it. Yeah.
That's
very
interesting.
It's intense stuff.
They don't want you to know. That means they bought it all out. If this is true, they bought it all out and banned it, and yeah, they don't want you to know the knowledge of that.
Yeah, I like that conversation.
Yeah.
That's sexy. You know, anything that goes away from the norm, I think is real sexy. It needs to be talked about.
Alright, there y'all have it. Joe Rogan featuring Hotep Jesus. Halos were inspired by magic mushrooms. I hope y'all enjoyed this video more than you do magic mushrooms. Nah, I doubt it for a lot of you niggas. Yeah, if you did, make sure you like the video. Go ahead, share, subscribe, comment down below your thoughts on it. And if you have any suggestions on some videos like these, go ahead, let me know. I will try to get to it the best as I can. And yeah, we're done with these. We got them out of the way. Another accomplished reaction video is done. Early in the morning. Early in the morning. I'm telling y'all, we committed to it. Gotta be consistent with it. Peace, love, positivity. Until next time, we are out.